How's it going, everybody? This is Martin Stokes here.
And this is Dean Scurry.
And I am a traveller.
And I'm a countryman.
Welcome to A Traveller
And a Countryman podcast.
Yes, we're here anyway this evening in the studio, and it's...
You sound very formal there. Loosen up a little bit. Don't be looking at me like I'm a tick. Loosen it up a bit.
Can you just wipe that all out?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
From all the way in the corner of Ballymun.
All the way from New York.
All the way from New York. You're fucking jumping on a plane there all of a sudden. All the way from the corner of Ballymun.
All the way from the corner of nowhere.
The number one podcast in Ireland. With the most handsomest two blokes you'd ever see.
One bloke.
Which one is ugly, you or me?
Well, you want to speak for yourself there.
I find myself kind of attractive.
Do you, yeah?
I've no problem saying that I am attractive.
I'm happy that you're satisfied with your own, with your own looks. But I'm sorry for your troubles.
Be your baby tonight.
Sorry for your troubles, good.
So, it's a new year,
yeah.
2023.
Thanks be to God.
So let's start off as we mean to go on, and where I want to go is right to the top.
So this is our number 30 podcast.
This is 30 podcast, 30.
Yeah, not bad. No.
Who would have thought about it? Like, when did we start? In May, that me and you would still be chatting, still be talking, still have stuff to say.
After all the fights.
It's been a tough old road. There's been a couple of times where I wanted to sack you, because sometimes you act like a tick.
Dean, don't just sack me. Just cut the wages, but don't sack me.
What's that song? The Old Triangle?
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, he's waiting for the bleeding fella to put the wages up.
Yeah. Okay.
If only we got a few quid for this. Oh, by the way, if there's anyone out there who wants to give us a few quid for doing this, right?
Nice, yeah.
Come and have a chat with us. Like, obviously, me and Martin are doing probably what's, the most unique, interesting podcast in the country. It's a big... Ballymun are bleeding mouthy like me, and Martin, a traveller man. Like, the perception of me as a working class Ballymun man and Martin is that we're two mouthy fools.
Two loonies, yeah.
But actually the conversations we have are so fucking interesting, and the people that we get on are so interesting, and the conversations that we're going to have in 2023 are only going to get more interesting and more that you can get your teeth into them. Especially
now that Dean is holding out the begging hat.
I have no problem begging. I have no problem putting my hand up and going, if there's anyone out there who wants to come and have a chat with me and Martin, sponsor this podcast.
Fill that cap.
To put a couple of grand on the table and go, you know what, lads, I think what you are doing is shit hot. I don't care who you are. Well, I do care. If you're a brand that I'm not really into, you know what I mean? Come and have a chat with us if you're something interesting. I don't know, mental health or fucking anti-racism or... Come and have a bleeding chat with us. We'll bite the hand off you for a bit of sponsorship.
Or empty pockets. All donations, basically what you're saying is made welcome, yes.
My kind of New Year's resolution for 2023 is to be more lovely, more honest, more tolerant, but push myself and push Martin a little bit more, just to do the shit hot best podcast we could possibly do, because most people don't get the opportunity to do a podcast.
It sounds like you're talking there like New Year's resolutions, like, is it?
Yeah, what's yours? Do you have any? Have you thought about it?
Well, look, we all make promises, and do we keep them is another thing. I think what we should do is promise to try, not exactly make that promise. Promise I'm going to try.
Well, I'm going to throw the cat amongst the pigeons. I'm going to promise to try to get traveller women's voices on this podcast in 2023. Because we've been steering away from it for the last 6 months.
Well, I hope your dream comes true, Dean.
We've had one traveller woman on it, and it was a safe bet. It was your ma. We had my ma on it. We had Lynn Ruan. You know what I mean?
Very good.
But there are other people out there,
yes.
And they know who they are, and we know who they are, who want to come on this podcast.
So, have you got something against settled women? Is that what you're saying?
No, but I think the challenge for this podcast isn't getting settled women on.
You need to clarify that.
You're steering away from this now.
Are you?
I will have as many settled women on this podcast as I'm allowed. I'm the one who invited Lynn Rowan down.
No, we did have. Of course we did. And she was very welcome.
In our live podcast.
And she's done a great job.
I think the issue is inviting traveller women on.
I was a bit confused when you said about traveller women.
You're steering it again.
So why specifically traveller women?
Because
that's what I can't understand.
You know that the elephant in the room is getting traveller women on this podcast might be the easiest thing to do.
You know also it's very hard to get traveller women to talk. Obviously you know that.
I know at least 4 of them that are gagging to talk.
There's the other thing as well, Dean, where they might be shy to come on to the podcast.
I know at least 4 of them that aren't shy to come on. They've asked me to come on.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So why have you not not got them on then, Dean? That's what I can understand.
So next week then, are we getting a traveller woman on?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm asking you, why have you not got them on?
We know
Is there
why.
something stopping
We know
it?
why, because you're not ready to get them on.
Dean, say it. If you want to say
You're
it.
not ready to
Why
get
am I
traveller
not
women
ready to
on
talk
here
to traveller
because you're
women?
too shy.
Maybe I am shy. If I'm shy about talking to traveller women,
You talk to your mammy. Your mammy's a traveller
she's
woman.
my mother. Yeah, she's not a stranger.
She's not a threat to you?
No, she's not a stranger.
She's not a threat to your relationship.
Go on, Dean.
Come on, Martin.
She's not a stranger, Dean. She's my mother. Like,
You've had
So-
people in here. You don't
no.
know Fallon, you wouldn't know if you passed him in the
Yeah.
street. He's a stranger.
but the truth is, right? Let's put it this way: you're not ashamed, or you're obviously not ashamed of your mother, but you're not as shy to talk around her. Like, you know what I mean? But the reality of it is, if you're shy around someone talking to around certain people, there's not much you can do about that.
So what certain people would you be shy talking around?
There's probably lots of people I would be shy, honestly. If I didn't know people, or say
You don't know. You didn't know me, mammy. You weren't shy of it around her.
yeah, she's
You definitely didn't know Shawnee
No, I'll
Kinsley.
tell you why. Maybe it's because she's an older, probably, I don't know, intelligent woman, or maybe it's because I got to sort of know her through you or something like that. I don't know. But young traveller women, yeah, of course I'd be shy around them. Sure, any traveller man would be shy around them. There's no doubt about that.
No,
And
there is doubt about it.
Dean, you're listening.
Because that same thing,
Dean, there
I'm
is
trying to
doubt.
understand
There's
it.
no doubt about it. Anyway, any other traveller man will understand what I'm talking about.
So can you
And
say
I'm
it to
certain
me
of
in a
that.
way that I understand it, so I stop poking the stick in your ribs to go,
Yes.
come on, Martin, get over it.
Dean, if you ask a traveller girl to come onto this podcast,
Yeah.
you probably won't see me here because, as I said to you, I'm sort of shy about that. Do you know what I mean?
I don't understand what you mean by shy about it. Can you just expand on that a little
Wouldn't
bit?
use the word ashamed. Some people use the word I'm ashamed to do that.
Would you be threatened?
In what way, like?
Would you get stick back off other traveller men?
Probably yes. So we would, yeah. Probably
Off your sons?
yeah.
Off their brothers and sisters and
Everybody,
fathers?
probably everybody. Yeah,
Who
probably. Yeah.
who does that traveller man think he is talking to them young traveller
What's
girls?
wrong with him? What's wrong with that age? Is he cracking up?
Is he cracking up?
Something like that. Yeah.
So do you find that
That's no disrespect to anybody. Like,
I know,
what
but do you find that is healthy?
I don't know. I honestly don't know because it's the world we're brought up in. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because it would be like saying to
It's
me,
not that simple just to switch off a bulb. Like,
let's say, for example, I'd love to get young Curly Harrington on this podcast.
yes.
And I'm sure you would love to get her
She's
as
the
well.
boxer, is she?
She's the boxer. So she's a young woman,
Yeah, but Dean.
but she's not a young traveller woman.
Right. Well, then let's put this through. I'm not saying this is official or anything, right? But the chances are, right, if you had Kelly Harrington on this show, right, on this podcast,
You'd
yeah,
love it.
Listen, let me. You asked me a
Sorry,
question,
brother.
right?
Sorry.
And the chances are we would talk about boxing, really, basically, sport, right? Because that's what she's into, isn't it? So we could have a topic all about that. But bring a traveller woman onto our podcast, and I will completely get lost. I won't have a clue. It'll be like I'm not even in the podcast, so there'll be no point in me turning up.
But you talk to traveller women outside of this room.
Not really, no.
I've seen you. We were at the National Traveller Mental Health Conference in Croke Park.
Yes.
And there was about 4 women.
My
some
aunt-
of them.
my auntie
your
was
auntie
there.
was there. You talked to her for 20 minutes.
Oh, she's me auntie, of course. Why not?
So can we get her on?
No, she wouldn't come on here, obviously. I know she won't.
I know her. I think she would.
But I'm certain that she wouldn't.
But there was other women there and other men. Like we
Yeah.
talked to
Well, let's put it
a range
there
of
was-
people.
Yeah, there was hundreds of travellers there, obviously. But come on now. And all
It was like a
honesty,
traveller day out.
If you're, yeah, it was. But if you're in a room and there's 300 travellers, like men and women, basically, and be honest,
Oh, I get it now. There's no.
the chances are you're going to bump into somebody there, maybe say hello or to have a topic about, or to have a conversation about what the topic is there on that day, like, you know what
But
I
if
mean?
it was just you and a traveller woman
Well, you
in the
wouldn't
room,
be, no, it wouldn't happen.
it wouldn't happen.
No, because I'll tell you what the story is. You're running me off the track here now again, right?
I don't mind running off the track.
If I, for instance, if I went to like one of them big things again, the conference, yeah,
Conference, yeah, in
for
Croke Park, it
travellers,
was deadly.
in Croke Park. The chances are, yeah, you bump into people, but you only have maybe a little word or two with them. There's no big conversation, or there's no sitting down with them for 2 solid hours, and then let's say running out of talk, and also asking questions.
So do you
It'd
think
be very,
that-
very embarrassing for me to sit down, to be honest with you, with a traveller woman,
Yeah.
and ask her questions? Seriously, I could never do
What
that.
about if she asked you questions?
It'd be similar. It'd be a similar thing.
What about if I asked her questions and you were in the room and you didn't have to say
There'd be
anything.
no sense in me having me there.
Exactly.
If you don't want me to say anything.
No. He wanted to say fucking everything. That's
you
the
want
thing.
me? No, you want me to walk right into this, yeah? I know what you have to do.
I'm not trying to set you up. Look, Martin,
like
here's the
throwing me
very
into
basics of it. I love you and you're me mate, and I don't want to set you up. But I think you know that there's benefits
Dean,
to talking.
I don't mind you trying to set me up. I'm open for a challenge. That's okay. Work away with that. Do your best. But I'm trying to explain to you in a sensible way as possible here. It just doesn't happen in the traveller world.
Can we be the people to change that?
Listen, other men don't sit down with other, let's say, other men's women, if you like, traveller women.
Yeah.
And say, have them kind of. Now, I know I'm saying that, but I'm not speaking for everybody because I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, you're trying to protect everybody by saying nobody.
No, I'm not. I won't.
Yeah.
I am saying is that there's different travellers out there and they probably have no bother doing the likes of that. Do you understand? Me, I'm just too shy to do the likes of that.
So I'm trying to get into it a little bit. Okay, so would you see the benefit of having a conversation anytime with a traveller woman? Is there any benefit?
I just want to let anyone who's listening to this, right?
Yeah.
I just want to let them know that this is Dean interrogating Martin Day. Is that right?
If it feels like an interrogation, I apologise, but I'm just trying to tease it out. We do a podcast, and one of the glaring obvious things is we haven't had, other than your mother, a traveller woman
tell me
on
something
it.
then, so will you? If, for instance, you're on about a traveller woman on the podcast, right? What would now? I'm not saying, as I said, with all due respect to women, anyway. What would that bring to our podcast? What do you think?
Let's say there's an obvious person who reached out to us, who both of us spoke to in public, all right?
Yes.
And she's a senator and she's a traveller. And she has said to us, I would love to come on to the podcast, okay? I think me and you and a senator sitting down and talking for an hour and a half can only be good because we done it live on stage.
Dean, this is the point I'm trying to make to you. Yeah, we done it live on the stage. I understand that. But what I'm trying to say to you is, when it comes to traveller men and traveller women, without a doubt, there's a shyness there.
I think the shyness is with the men.
And
I think the shyness is with the men.
Yeah, I'm honestly saying that.
It's less with the women. Because I went to a conference with you.
I don't know.
I went to a conference with you, and the majority of people there were women, and they had no problem talking.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking to them all. That's the thing, you see. I was
but
talking about
what I'm saying is they had
altogether.
no problem talking.
I was talking to Eileen Flynn, for a couple of minutes, myself and yourself. I was talking to my auntie for a while.
We even said to
Had a
Eileen
cup of
Flynn,
tea.
why don't me, you and Martin sit up on that stage next year and do a live podcast in front of 300 or 400 people?
Who knows?
That would be phenomenal.
Who knows what could happen in the future?
So there's a thing you said there, I just want to pick it up a little bit. And I'm not trying to pick the scab, I'm just trying to get in a little bit and tease
No, you
it
just
out.
have to go into my head, that's all. There's no harm.
Oh, if it feels like a gun, that's all right. You're a 50-year-old man. Get over yourself. You said no traveller man would talk to another traveller man's woman.
I sort of overrun the conversation there, yes.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, what if the
sort of
traveller
tried
woman
to correct
isn't
it.
with a man?
No, I tried to correct it about saying there that a majority of traveller men, now I can honestly tell you, men that I know will be very embarrassed to sit down and actually have a big conversation with another traveller woman. I know this. Would
it fill you with anxiety or fear if I said to you, next week's guest is a traveller woman? Obviously it would.
Think about it, I'm very busy next week.
Okay, so you're coming up with juvenile excuses.
No, I might be silly.
Would it fill you with fear or anxiety or frustration or something like that, going, this Dean fucker's at the setting me up here now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing about it is, it's not about fear or anxiety. I can honestly tell you that I'd be very, very shy and ashamed to have that. I'd imagine we wouldn't have a conversation.
Would you be open to trying it?
What was that?
Oh, you heard it. Come on, don't avoid it. It's just me and you in the room here, and everyone else listening in, and every other traveller in the world listening in, and every other woman traveller in the world listening in. Just all that pressure is on you.
Let's not make this a woman thing, right? This is not against women.
The pressure
With
is
all
on
due
you.
respect,
Would you be open to trying
I
it?
think I'd be very shy about it, honestly.
I get that. That's not the question. The question is, would you be open to trying
The thing
it?
about it is, that's what I'm explaining to you. If I'm shy about it, how can I be open to trying it?
You try it and you realise, actually, that was more difficult than I thought. Or actually, like the one with Lynn and the live show, because you were nervous for that, that was actually a lot more enjoyable.
It was interesting, though. Yeah, it was interesting.
I think one of the things you said was it was a lot more enjoyable and easy than you thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was interesting. The other thing about it is, you were saying something about about New Year's resolutions. Is this one of them attacking me when you feel like it?
Do you feel like you're being attacked?
Yes.
Okay. Well, my intention is not to attack you. My intention, and I think you know this, is to work with you to help explore some of the areas and blind spots and biases and fears that both of us have.
Yes.
Around Irish culture, traveller culture, men, women, black, white, all this type of stuff.
Can I ask you one question, Dean?
You can ask me as many as you want.
What happened to the Lord Mayor who was supposed to come on 3 times?
I invited the Lord Mayor on and she responded and she said she's very busy. Now, obviously she's very busy, but everybody's very busy if we want to be. So
That's
this is
true.
an open invitation on air to the Lord Mayor. Hey, come and get involved. To anybody, anybody out there who wants to engage with us, who feels like there's a conversation to be had, just reach out to us. You know what I mean? Who did I reach out to? Pierce Doherty from Sinn Féin. I reached out to Christy Moore. I think that would be an interesting conversation.
Yes.
There's a few different people I sent messages to.
Damien Dempsey.
So Damo said he'll do it. Damo's doing a run of shows in the Abbey Theatre from the end of January. So he's rehearsing now. That'll run for about 6 weeks. So he said, look, we'll get it in then. And I know that he wasn't busy for 2 years during COVID and he's making the most out of every single day.
He's right. He's doing the right thing.
Just to fucking survive. The Damien Dempsey paid a mortgage tour.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Fair play to him.
So New Year's resolutions, mine is for me to be more loving and tolerant and embracing of other people and other people's cultures. Like I was in Fuerteventura surfing with my mate at Christmas, and I noticed there wasn't many brown or black people there. So I asked the dude who he hired the camper van for. I was like, where's all the brown people? And he's like, it's kind of more Germans and, white people that come to this island.
Yes.
So the day I was leaving, I went down to the docks, went into this little cafe, and I was chatting, and there was this black girl there. She was kind of a little bit nervous, and she was having her lunch, and then when she went for a smoke, she grabbed her purse and her bag, and she walked past us, and I tried to be as less threatening to her as possible. So anyway, between the jigs and the reels, I got talking to her, and she's there as a photojournalist for a big newspaper, and she's documenting. So she's a young black Moroccan woman documenting refugees leaving Morocco and places like that and going to the Canary Islands.
Very good.
She's taking pictures of that. And we got talking about that. And that's kind of when I realised my New Year's resolution is to encourage those conversations as much as possible so I am less fearful and less ignorant and less ill-informed of those types of things. And as we were talking, I started bursting out bleeding crying because I realised that the conversation we were having, me and this young black journalist, photographer, was very, very rare, but very, very important. That we see what the common humanity that we have rather than seeing the division, the obvious division we have. She's a woman, I'm a man, we can't talk. She's black, I'm white, we can't talk. She's Moroccan, I'm Irish, we can't talk. Fuck that shit. Telling you now, fuck that shit. Is there a song we can sing about that?
Is that going to me?
Fuck that shit. I don't want to be racist or know any racist. If you're an intolerant, ignorant racist, go fuck yourself.
So, Dean, tell me something now. Now you're talking about racists, yeah? Do you, what do you think of people that are racist?
I think...
Now, let's get this one right first.
Let's do it.
No, let's get this one right. Racism and discrimination are the same thing, am I right?
Yeah, okay.
Let's be honest, they are the same thing. Is it, do you know any difference in them, do you?
Discrimination is kind of like you treat one set of people differently from another set of people, where racism is one set of people expressly feel superior to another set of people.
Same thing.
Kind of, yeah.
Damn.
One of them. So I can feel superior and not treat you differently, or I can feel superior and treat you differently.
But it's a fact that people are still being treated different on both of them.
Yeah, based on a number of things. Like,
no, I think it's just written in different lines, that's all.
Kind of. So Irish people were treated differently, for example, in America and in London.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much so that You know, I wear a T-shirt now that says "More blacks, more dogs, more Irish," and it's a kind of antidote to the slogan that was used in London, which says "No blacks, no dogs, no Irish, no
No
travellers,
travellers,
no
that's right.
Jews."
Yeah.
Like in America in the 50s, there was a signs all over the place that says "No Jews, only Gentiles." Yeah, and I was looking, going, "What is a Gentile?" Because I remember hearing that word when I was growing up, Jews and Gentiles. And a Gentile is basically anybody who's not a Jew. So the sign was saying, "No Jews." And then underneath it had, "Only white Northern Europeans accepted." This was in like a Gulf society in America in the 50s. Only white Northern Europeans accepted.
Sick.
So that's a superiority thing. We're white and we're superior and you're not, and you're inferior, and we're going to treat you differently, so much so that we're going to exclude you from our society. We're going to separate you apart. Yeah? And the word apart, the next word after that is apartheid. So travellers, for example, put out apart or separate to settle people is a form of apartheid. So I think that that's kind of it. Superiority is actually, for me, is people's way of expressing their insecurity or their feeling of inferiority or their fear. So they'll stand up and go, "No, me, big white man, me, I'm best. You are black man."
Is that how white men talk?
I don't know what accent I'm trying to do there. But you know what I mean? Me, I'm a white Irish Christian nationalist. I am the best. Anybody who's not white Irish Christian nationalist, go fuck off and get out of the country. The madness of that is Irish people in Ireland make up a very small percentage of Irish people in the world.
That's right.
So let's say there's 100 million Irish people in the world. 4 or 5 million of them live in Ireland. So 5% of all Irish people, all Irish stories, all Irish poems, all Irish money, all Irish relationships, 5% only live in Ireland. 95% of Irish people
Are all over the world.
are immigrants,
Yes.
are foreigners, basically.
The
We're
yeah.
foreigners. 95% of our total, what we call Irish ethnic group,
Yes.
we're foreigners.
Simple as, yes.
Done. That's it. So how the fuck can we stand up and point the finger
At foreigners coming in here,
at
basically.
foreigners coming in here or people who we perceive as inferior to us because we're afraid? So I think that that's where it's at. And I, all day, every day, will challenge the fucking stupidity of that, the ignorance of that, the selfishness of that.
So, Dean, tell me something, right? I know it's probably, you don't like people who are racist against others, do you?
No. I just don't like anybody who thinks they're superior to anybody else.
Okay, right. You don't like people who discriminate against other people, do you?
If you're
Especially
discriminating,
the lesser
if
marginalised.
somebody else is getting treated differently based on anything, I question that. Height. Let's say, okay, only 6 foot people can get the ice cream. Well, what about 5'5" people? Yeah, well, they don't get ice cream. Only people with brown eyes can get into the shop. Well, what about people with no eyes? Yeah, well, we don't serve no eye fuckers. Only left-handed people get clothes. Well, what about right-handed people? I was discriminated when I was a kid because I was left-handed, and I was actually called lefty or dummy or fucking... It's mad, isn't it? Now, only recently in this country, if you were gay, you went to prison. Only recently in this country, if you were A, B and C, X, Y and Z happened to you. Only recently in London, if you were Irish, you were accused of being a terrorist. Only recently in this country, if you were a traveller, you were a fucking knacker. So how long are we going to hold on to any of this stuff? And who's the new victim? Is there this wanky phrase, military-aged black men? I'm a military-aged man. Am I a threat to people in this country? To young men and young women or people going to school?
Yes.
I live beside a fucking school. Am I a threat because I'm a man? So I'm calling that shit out all day. It's based in fear. It's based in division. If you think that those people are the enemy, you want to get your fucking head out of your TikTok, okay? Yeah. The enemy is the banking institutions, is the corrupt political classes. If you think it's some poor refugee immigrant coming into Ireland, there's 95 million of Irish people doing that around the fucking world for the last 200 years since we had the famine.
If you knew people who were discriminating, just say against blacks, for instance, right? Would you, if they were friends of yours, would you like that? No. Simple question.
I have friends who do that.
You have?
Yeah. Now, they don't always put the hand up and say...
And you still call them friends, yeah.
That's an interesting one. If somebody is like that, and I realise they're like that, because not all the time they put their hand up and go, you know, by the way, I don't like gay people, or I don't like disabled people. Not everyone says that. Yeah.
No, but if you've seen it happening.
If I seen it happen, let's say, for example...
If it was a close friend of yours
Here's an interesting one. I was getting a taxi once home from a Vicar Street gig, and I was with another couple. And one of the people that was with us was a taxi driver. The fella I was with was a bit drunk, but he was a taxi driver in his normal day.
Oh, he was a taxi driver, yeah.
So this taxi's coming towards us. It's 1:30 a.m. We're all a bit drunk. We're all going the same way. I put my hand out, and the taxi driver was black.
Yes.
And he said to me, I'm not getting into that taxi. And I said, we don't have a relationship anymore.
Did you?
Yeah. We're kind of done now because you're a fucking idiot.
That's the stuff, yeah.
You know what I mean? Not like, oh, please, oh, we're all drunk, oh, I was only messing.
So did you get into the taxi?
I got into the taxi with the black man,
left him
with
there.
my partner, and went home and just left him and said, bro, you're big and bold enough to be a fucking idiot on your own.
That's right.
You don't need me to be an idiot with you.
That's right.
And I'm going to call out your stupidity. I think if you don't call it out, you're complicit.
Well, he didn't
in
do
the
himself
ignorance.
any favours. He was just standing on the street, wasn't he?
Yeah. If you don't call it out, you're complicit in the ignorance, in the self-righteousness, in the self-importance, in the supremacy.
Yeah.
If you don't call it out. If you just shut your mouth and you say nothing and you hear no evil, see no evil, get off the fucking fence and take a stand.
You're making us a part of it.
Because there's people in this world who are being really, really fucking hurt, and some of them are your cousins, friends, aunties. Some of them were gay, some of them were disabled, some of them were this and that. So if we don't call it out, we're complicit.
Yeah, it needs to stop somewhere, doesn't it?
So, okay, so 2023, if any of my friends are intolerant racists, just do yourself a favour, come and have a chat with me, or fuck off. Boom, done.
Oh man, indeed, I like that one.
And if here's another one for you. If any traveller men don't have what it takes to sit in a room with a traveller woman, go and fuck yourself. Cards on the table. Go and fuck yourself.
Yeah, but you're bringing it here. There's no one saying anyone's racist against traveller women. We're simply saying.
You know what I mean? I just call it the way I see it.
We're simply saying through our own weaknesses, we are very shy to talk to other travelling women.
So grow a set of balls and start talking. Grow up.
It's very simple, and that is not disrespecting anybody.
I'll be your baby tonight.
Oh my God!
Give us an old tune there, will you?
You can calm down there a bit now, Dean, because you're baiting everybody up there for a little while. So take a breather there.
It's not about baiting everybody up. It's about if you want to be silent, be fucking silent, but it's not good enough. More blacks, more dogs, more Irish. If you want to be silent, you want to sit in the fence, you want to sit in your little cosy fucking I'm all right, Jack. Don't put the knackers in beside me. If you want to sit in that world, just fuck off. I've no time for you. I've no tolerance for that. I'll sit down and have a conversation with you and tease it out, but I guarantee you it's based in your fear, your ignorance and your insecurity, and it's not based in love.
Yeah, it's too much of it happening all over the world, to be honest about. But sure, look, it's up to themselves if they want to change it or not, isn't it? It's their own, as you say, it's their own ignorance.
It's their own bag of shite that they're carrying around.
Which means it's their own problems.
Yeah, but it's not just their own problems when they're out marching on the streets in my community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or they're out pointing fingers.
But it is their own problems. It really is. It's themselves that's the problem.
I know, but they can also cause real hurts to people.
Oh yeah, that's true. I know
based in fear. The boogeyman in this country used to be the traveller.
Yes.
There's a new boogeyman. He's a military-aged brown refugee from Africa. That's the new boogeyman.
Say, Dean, for instance, right? I'm going on to something. Well, it's not something different, just a little bit different. And plus, I don't want. We don't need no names or anything like. Supposing you had
no names, no scandals. Is that the way you work?
As the fella said, a shut mouth gets no flies. The Rolling Stone, was it the Rolling Stone don't gather no moss? Supposing, right, you had a friend, right? And if it was a good old friend of yours, like, if you knew a guy in a pub now, for instance, right? And he was a good friend of yours as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to answer this question,
Yeah,
okay?
this is a fantasy character. He doesn't actually exist in the real world.
Yeah.
Or maybe he
and
does.
Supposing that good friend of yours that owned a pub, like, I'm just saying this, and you had a good traveller friend, like, yeah? And he was using all excuses not to serve him, like, for one reason or another, but obviously wasn't telling the truth, like.
He was refusing the business.
What would you make out of that, like?
I would say if you're open to it, let's sit down and have a powwow, have a conversation. If you're not open to it, you're not open to it.
Have a chat about it, like, is it?
Like a proper tease it out chat. But that takes honesty from both sides.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, there's an obvious thing with Irish travellers in Ireland is that sometimes they play the innocent and they go,
right.
We're not like that. We don't do that. We don't go into places and fuck the place up and smash the place up and sit around and talk shite and fucking harass people. You do. Not all of you, but you do.
Some of them does, yeah.
Not all of you,
but you got that in all walks of life.
Exactly.
You have it everywhere.
Exactly.
You don't just have
and
it
I'm
in travel
telling you
community.
now, if a brown man or a gay man or disabled man got the same treatment based on the actions of another gay man, there would be fucking uproar.
Yeah.
Let's say one gay man walks into a pub and smashes the place up and fucking kicks the bollocks out of some of the staff. And then the next day there's a report in the news, all gay fuckers are barred from all bars for all time.
Yes.
There'd be fucking riots.
Yeah,
There'd be bleeding.
Probably wouldn't happen.
There'd be pride flags up and down O'Connell Street going, this isn't good enough.
Yeah.
But the travellers don't have their shit together enough to organise. They don't. They're too shy.
Yeah, they don't talk up enough.
Don't talk up enough.
I'm not a pub guy. I'm not a drinker, basically.
But in terms of any discrimination against travellers,
in general, travellers don't stand up enough to that.
They'd rather just sit in. They'd rather sit in the shite and let it happen.
They don't need to fight about it or make this big what they call it. But I think there could be they could make a small bit of a stand there somewhere.
So who would they be standing up against?
They'd be standing up against discrimination, the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
And most of all, the people that are causing the discrimination.
What about the travellers who are causing this shit? Because that's a harder one to challenge.
It is, but let it be dealt with individually.
Let it be dealt with through the law.
Whatever way they want to deal with it.
Because we have this thing called the
law.
law.
If a barman has a problem with a traveller coming through his door, and say if there is an argument, or no, 9 times out of 10 pubs have these bouncers. Anyway, they call them bouncers, but they're supposed to be security, but they call them bouncers because they're bullies.
Okay, so Martin, I think what the problem is that travellers want the best of both worlds. Because I was driving with you a couple of weeks ago going, oh, don't pay a toll bridge. I know loads of my mates don't pay toll bridge.
Yeah.
And I know loads of my mates don't pay fines when they get clamped. They just rip the fucking clamp off.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Travellers don't do that.
Travellers do that as much as anybody else does it. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
Travellers dump as much as non-travellers dump.
Yes.
It's just too easy to call travellers knackers and shit on them. Yeah. The challenge, I think, is that travellers want the best of both worlds, but they're not prepared yet to fight their corner and own the bit. Do you know what I mean? They still want the freedom of the old ways, but they're calling out, on the other hand, the discrimination. There needs to be a bit of movement. You know what I mean? There needs to be a bit of walking towards the fucking water.
Yeah, but if you think of it this way, if travellers are not out there, as you said, walking towards the water, is it?
Yeah.
If they're not out there, like, say, protesting, and they're not bringing a protest to certain pubs where they've been refused, and if they're not highlighting all this,
well, then hold your wish.
Yeah, but then it also shows you that they're not looking for the sympathy card either.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it.
Think about it.
Yeah.
So who can say they're looking for sympathy or looking for petting or whatever it might be if they're not actually highlighting this stuff?
It does. I'd say it probably annoys me more that travellers don't get into pubs than it annoys travellers.
Yeah, but for instance, but you see, the thing about it is, being honest about it, travellers are gone so used to it now, they just don't take it on board.
What's that song? If you tolerate this, then your children will be next.
Yeah, that's right. Next. Yeah. But the thing
I think there's another side of that. If you're in a working class community and refugees come in and you tolerate it, well, then they're going to attack your
Why would
children.
you-
That's a load of bollocks, by the way. That's a load of bollocks. That's not happening. That's fucking fear. That's not what that song means.
Fear. What
You've
is
got
the fear,
that
Dean?
fucking thing.
What is the fear?
The fear is, in this case, so what's the genuine threat to settled people from travellers?
Two settled people.
Yeah.
The genuine
What's
threat.
the real threat? The
real
actual threat.
The real threat.
Yeah.
The real threat is their own imagination.
Boom. So that's what I'm saying. The real threat.
It's what they're actually thinking that the threat is to themselves.
So there's no threat at all then?
No, I'm not looking. I'm not saying. No, I don't believe there's a threat, being honest about it. Let's say, for instance, right, there's a big crowd of travellers in the pub. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm saying this, right? And I'm not, trying to defend the situation 100%, like, you know what I mean? But if you look on that YouTube stuff there, right, you'll see lots and lots and lots. I get like WhatsApps almost, not every day, but lots and lots and lots of times where like pubs in England, pubs in Scotland, pubs down the country, where all these let's say they're almost gang fights, if you want to put it that way, where you could have 20 lads in the corner watching a football match and
Travellers, non-travellers?
no, non-travellers.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm not saying it doesn't happen with travellers. I'm not saying
Absolutely it does.
that it doesn't
100%
happen.
it does. But it also
I can
happens
honestly tell
a
you this
lot
now.
with non-travellers.
Because I've often sent out the WhatsApps, not sent out the WhatsApps. I've often received the WhatsApps, right? And you see where all these lads are throwing cheers and like I've seen it, genuinely seen it.
So why aren't they getting barred from pubs?
This one getting at. I have genuinely seen it on the where lads, again, as I said, sending you WhatsApps with these bunches of lads throwing stools, throwing whatever's in their hands, they'll be, you name it. But, and also, I've seen some of them where it happened on some of the streets in Dublin also. Yeah? Where there could be 20 lads one side, maybe 10 and 15 the other side, and they'd be all throwing at each other. But what I would realise was then, I've often sent out messages asking, who's these lads, or who's this, or who's that? Because sometimes you can't exactly see who it is. Oh, that's a bunch of settled lads in Dublin. That's having that argument. That's a bunch of lads in Tenerife. That's a bunch of lads in London. And not all the time they're travellers. But it's the same sort of get out, if you know what I mean. So it's happening in
We are naive
It
if
is
we
happening
think that
in-
all crime in America is perpetrated by young black men. Okay? You would be fucking nuts to believe that. And if you want to prove it, go and watch a documentary on Netflix about the white banker fucking dude who ripped off 68 billion euro from people. You could add up all the black crime in America and it wouldn't come to 68 billion fucking euro.
Dean,
These mad bastards.
if you say, for instance, if you had a pub, right?
I don't know who you are though. I'm just making that up.
If you had a pub, right, and say
You're like a dog with a bone with this fucking pub thing.
No, yeah, that's right. That's what we were talking about, a pub.
Yeah.
And you went away from it 4 times, so that's why I'm going back. The bone is still there. If you were owning a pub, yeah, right, you served say a couple of travellers, right, and just say some silly thing happens. It could be something small, and you tell, right, lads, that's it. Don't come back no more. Fair enough. They probably wouldn't go back. But if 1 or 2 travellers then, or whatever, 4 or 5 travellers landed at your door then next week, basically, and wanted to come in for a drink, what would you say to them? Would you still be in fear of the bit of argument that was last week?
Like, Martin, what
Be
I
honest.
really enjoy doing is tarring every fucker with the same brush.
So you tell them
So
no.
if I see somebody with a scar on their face, I'm going to judge them. I'm going to go, that's a mad fucker. They're not coming into my pub. If I see somebody who has the surname that I don't like,
Yes.
they're not coming into my holiday camp.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I see a one-eyed fucking leprechaun bastard with ginger hair and he's gay and he's in a wheelchair, I don't let them fuckers into me shop.
Yeah.
Because all one-eyed leprechaun,
So basically you're
red-headed,
telling me you'd be
fucking
like every-
gay, disabled fuckers, they're all weirdos.
Are you saying you'd be like every other barman in Ireland, yeah?
It's the easy one, isn't it?
Is that what you're saying,
Just
yeah?
fuck yous all.
Do you want to tell the boys you're being sarcastic there, yeah?
If you can't smell the sarcasm out of me, you want to cop on. I put a couple of posts up actually slagging people who are out protesting against brown men coming to Ireland. And one of them was, lads, you were all crying your eyes out last week when fucking Pele died. Pele was in Ballymun. Pele's brown.
That's
Do you
right.
know what I mean?
Black, yeah.
Fucking Phil Lynott. You were all fucking singing Phil Lynnott's song at
And he's Irish.
Christmas. He's black and Irish. Is
Yeah,
he
he
not
is.
a threat to your children? You know what I mean?
That's true, yeah.
So I was away in the Canaries for Christmas with me mate surfing. I got sick. We hired a camper van. 2 of us had the flu in the camper van for a week. On the 26th, I went surfing. It was deadly. It was deadly.
That
It
was
just
some
taught
holiday
me
too,
so
with the
much
flu.
about just relaxing.
It taught you not to go there again with a flu.
I had no problem doing it. It just taught me just accept what you have and get on with it. What are you going to do? What was I going to do? Cry my eyes out because I had the flu on my holidays? It taught me tolerance because I was in the camper van, little camper van, with me, mate, and I was just thinking, I won't be able to handle hanging out with him for a week, the 2 of us being sick. But it just taught me tolerance.
Yes.
There you go. So anyway, I was out surfing, and between the jigs and the reels, I was in the big boy surf, and I'm not a big boy surfer, and I had a couple of accidents, and one of the accidents was I dislocated the tip of my little finger because I had the leash wrapped around it. A big wave came in. Anyway, me finger dislocated, and I pushed it back in, put a little splint on it, came home, went into the rapid injury clinic in Smithfield. Within an hour, I was seen by a non-Irish brown person. Yeah?
Yeah.
20 minutes later, I got an x-ray in a room by a non-Irish brown woman.
Yeah.
Another 20 minutes later, somebody else came in to check on me, and they were like, an Eastern European person.
They're all nice people, they were.
I went into the hospital the next
They
day.
looked after you, basically.
I went into the hospital the next day for surgery.
Yes.
I probably got the care of about 15 people. Some of them Irish, some of them male, some of them white, some of them brown, some of them Italian, some of them Chinese, some of them fucking African. But they all fell over themselves
All
to give
lovely
me
people.
care and love and attention.
Very, very good.
And I'm
yes.
telling you what, if I want to throw that back in their face and say we only want white Christian Irish people in this country, what a fucking idiot I am. What a hypocrite I am.
Yes.
They fell over themselves to save my tiny little finger, while there's people in this country dying of fucking COVID and whatever else, flu and trolleys. Me, fucking Tico from Ballymun, paid 75 quid and got treated like a fucking king.
Very good.
And I'm telling you now, it made me really look at where we are as a country. If we think that this country will survive with just safe, white, Irish, Christian people, we need to get our fucking head out of our arses.
Supposing this country went upside
The
down.
way you say that, supposing this country.
Supposing this country went upside down in a year's time. Just say that.
Yeah.
And the majority of people had to flee from this country for one reason or another. And
Let's say the Brits got an itch in their
look at
balls.
whatever, Dean. Look at whatever.
Let's
right.
say, okay, sorry, go on.
I'm just saying. I'm not going to start
I'm always
using
at the Brits.
which reason. You're dead down the Brits. It's only wonder there's none of them over here in Ireland. Suppose and say, right, again, this country upside down, and say for one reason or another that the Irish people had to flee Ireland and head to America or England or whatever
Somewhere
country,
where they're not white and they don't speak
whatever
English.
country takes them in, yes?
Iceland. Well, that's white.
Yeah. What would the feeling be then like about that they'd have, and it did happen before, we know that, back in the war times, where they all had to emigrate to America and
We had a
stuff.
fucking famine.
Not just to America, emigrate to anywhere they could. The best way of putting it, even for to get work or one thing or another. So, what's the difference then of other people coming in here to this country just to live?
Martin, don't be making this about other people. We want what we want. We're not getting what we want. Fuck everyone else. I don't care about anyone else. I'm just looking out for me and me ma and me sister and me brother. I'm all right, Jack. And I don't really give a rat's about any fucking other people. And don't be trying to set me up going, what if Ireland was at war tomorrow? Ireland's never going to be at war.
Yeah.
There's never going to be a famine here. We're never going to be colonised. We'll never have to move out of this safe little country and travel the world and look to scrape out a living in all the different pockets all over the world. That's a fucking fantasy.
Maybe look for rations, never mind anything else. So, I don't know, Dean, it's hard to keep everybody happy, isn't it?
I think
people are what they are, that's it.
For me, my New Year's resolution is sing more songs. Be tolerant.
Go on, sing a song.
No woman, no cry.
A woman, no crime.
No
you say
woman, no crime.
Yeah.
No traveller women on the podcast. That's a joke.
Yeah.
Get your knickers out of a twist. Relax. It's not about you. Just chill the fuck out.
You're definitely going to get sacked.
Get up. Stand up.
Stand up for your rights. Yeah?
Stand up for your rights.
You're getting personal now.
Get up. Stand up. The traveller's gonna fight.
So what do you think of the weather over Christmas anyway?
The weather.
Yeah.
I was in fucking Spain. It was 25 degrees.
Well, you're only a week over there. You weren't over there for a month, were you?
I don't mind a bit of bleeding wind and a bit of rain.
Silly question. You were stuck in a camper.
Yeah, I was like you. I was like you for a week, stuck in a camper.
You were stuck in the camper and you were parked by the sea.
Give us an old tune there. What song were you singing on the way in?
It would have been a nice picture. It would have been a nice picture there
what are you avoiding singing for?
I'm saying it would be a lovely picture, the photo of the camper and the sea and the thumb out, the sore finger out the window.
And me puking into a bucket, snotting and puking into a bucket.
Oh my God.
What would be our New Year's resolution, Martin?
What's that?
What's your New Year's resolution? For yourself and for the podcast?
My New Year's resolution is basically give up the drink. I'm going to give up the drink.
Stop talking shit. You hardly drunk and drink a pint a year.
Okay. Giving up basically talking about people like in a bad and negative way, like a bad way.
That's not a bad one, yeah.
That's a good one, isn't it?
Jiving people.
No, I like driving people.
Yeah, but it doesn't pay anything to a relationship. Like you try and jive me, we have a bit of fun, but it doesn't add that into a relationship.
No, that's
I'd rather
right.
show you love.
No, I'll tell you what it is. You see, the thing about it is, if you haven't got a sense of humour, that is definitely not my problem. So if I'm joking with you and slagging with you and having the crack with you,
yeah,
and you're just sitting there like an old, look, I don't know what to call you, and we kind of get a laugh out of you one thing or another, obviously that's your problem, without a doubt. So if you want to, as the fella said, cheer up a little bit in life, yeah, go along with it. Go along with the
jibes. So your New Year's resolution is to get me to cheer up more?
No, I'm going to double my jibes on you.
Twice you've had this.
I'm going to slag you twice as much.
I've had to rip the piss out of you for this whole podcast.
The only thing that
you didn't even realise it.
I did realise it. I know when you're sogging. Did you ever hear that one?
Sogging, no.
When you're sogging, yeah. When you're talking to somebody, yeah, and you're actually winding them up and they don't realise it. That's what you call it.
And you're helping me wind you up.
Yes. That's what you call sogging.
You're pouring honey into your own ear.
Yes, that's what you call sogging somebody. So I know when you're sogging and when you're not. Yeah, the other thing about it is having a bit of crack, a bit of slagging and messing and jibing and being in better form if possible, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can make a person be that, like, you know what I mean? It has
can we tell people what we done before we recorded the podcast?
No, it has to become.
No, we can't tell them.
No, it has to.
I'm going to tell them. So before we recorded the podcast,
natural.
Before we recorded,
that's what I was trying to say. You know what I mean?
Don't be stepping on my words. Before we recorded the podcast, Martin was here, and I've been saying it to him for 6 months. Get in and record, and we recorded 2 songs. Now we might never release them. You might never hear them, but the chances are you will. That's not important. What's important is Martin, at 50 years of age, sat in a studio with me and recorded 2 songs. And he was very, very comfortable doing it. Now, he's shy and he's not going to want you to know any of this, but I'm letting you know. Before you even hear his voice, he's fucking shy. But he's going to get over it. 2023, Martin will conquer his shyness.
It's okay, Dina. There's no problem. You can tell my business. It's all good. Go ahead.
You're doing a fucking podcast.
Feel free.
You're doing a podcast. Cop on to yourself. We have a great opportunity here. You know who doesn't do a podcast?
Who?
Dead people. We're alive and we're doing a bleeding podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure,
so grab it by both hands or else get off the road.
I think we need to move this podcast forward in because I'm sort of like, I don't want to say the words like, but I'm a little bit tired looking at you like and even talking to you and all that like.
Well, look, we're obviously going to have some traveller women on soon, so that's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
you're going to sing a live song on the podcast. That's going to be good. We might even record a podcast, somewhere else in the country, the west of Ireland or something. That's going to be fun. Somebody's going to come to us and give us sponsorship. That's going to be amazing. All this stuff is going to happen in 2023.
Tell me another thing here as well, will you please? You actually reached out to a lot of people about our podcast, didn't you?
Yeah.
Now, everybody that you reached out to, you told me they were all good friends of yours. Is that right?
Well, good friends is probably a fabrication of the truth. I would know them.
No, but this is what I'm reading is that they're good friends of yours.
I would know a lot of people, and I've reached out to a lot of people.
You don't need to mention names or anything because that wouldn't be fair. Like, And my understanding was that they were good friends of yours.
Okay.
And
We're getting very serious.
some of them have got back to you, but some of them haven't even replied to you. How's that?
Because people have their own shit.
No, I do understand and appreciate that people are busy and all that.
People
sort
have
of
their
stuff,
own
like,
shit.
You know.
Not everyone. This podcast isn't the center of the universe for anybody other than me and
No,
you.
that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's kind of it. People have their own shit. Some people they would think coming on a podcast with me and you would be a difficult thing to do.
Do you want me to step aside for a while and see can you get your friends on?
Do you think it's because they're not coming in because there's a traveller man here?
Come on, when you joke, what you want.
I think that the biggest fear would be being on a microphone with me because I'm a big mouthy fucker.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Could be.
Possibly,
Could be.
yeah.
You don't know. Well, look,
No,
I'm not
seriously.
going to
I'm only winding up.
suggest where people are at. People know where they're at. If anybody wants to get on this bleeding podcast, reach out.
Get out, come out and have a bit of crack.
Get
or
on
something,
the
a bit of a
bleeding
laugh
phone.
and a
Give us a
joke.
shout. Come on down.
Something different for a change, like, you know what I mean?
Here, let's do something that other people aren't doing because the world, it's a big old bad scary world. Let's make it a little bit more fun and interesting.
So when you came back from what do you call it for from Christmas, yeah. So what was your thing in the new year then? Into the new year, basically.
One of the things I started to do was honestly, truthfully tell me girlfriend all the time that I'm just mad about her.
Oh, don't do it, Dean. Don't do it.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's great. Just the honesty I'm getting very comfortable in honesty. I'm getting very comfortable in being vulnerable.
You're getting very lonesome there and very what do you call it?
No, look, we have this thing where we have to be big macho men. I am very comfortable being a non-macho man. I'm getting very comfortable being honest and vulnerable.
So basically, it took you to go to the Canary Islands
To realise.
and to be completely stranded with a flu, a camper van that ran out of diesel, the waves coming in on the beach hitting the sides of it.
Yeah, to realise what I had right in front of me.
A shop about 10 miles away, no food in the camper van, yeah, and your other half, your friend, what was his name? Stephen got the flu off you, or did you catch it off him?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, the two of you nearly killed each other in the back of a camper van without leaving a hand to each other.
But Martin, I'm telling you now, it brought us closer.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you is that you literally had to go to hell and back just to realise
Yeah.
that you had a girlfriend.
yeah. But I think that time away enhances the relationship, enhances the love. The healthiest thing is to have a little bit of time, a little bit of space.
But Dean, in all honesty, when you're ugly, you're going to have that fear.
Martin, you'd know
About
all about
women leaving
you'd
you.
know all about
No,
the
I'm
bleeding.
32 years married.
You're a
She hasn't left me.
baboon-looking fucker.
I'm 32 years married. She hasn't left me yet. So there must be something.
She must be blind in both of the eyes.
She's good eyesight, thank God. Darling, let's turn back the years and go back to yesterday.
Here we go.
Let's pretend that time has stopped and I didn't go away.
Oh my God.
We had our love to make us happy.
I love you, Martin.
It wasn't meant to bring us tears.
You're my hero.
Let's pretend that time has stopped. So, darling, let's turn back the years. That's what you need to do, Dean. That's the reason I sang that song for you.
Oh my God. Martin, you're at the filling me heart full of love. It's at the taking
That's the song.
30
Yeah.
episodes
That's the song you need to sing to Emma when you come home from
for the
Canary
liberation
Islands.
of Martin Stokes.
With all the suffering you went through for a week.
Lads, you
You
have
should've.
no idea the smile on me and his face. And I know you are out there smiling going, come on,
That's
lads,
the
more of this
song.
shit. More of the real
Yeah.
shit.
That's the song you need to sing to her when you come home. The next time you come home from the Canary Islands after suffering for a week in it. Darling, let's turn back the years.
Lads, episode
Oh my God.
30, a traveller and a
And a
countryman
countryman.
kicking ass. Love yous all.
Nothing ever comes easy.
So that's us for this episode, a Traveller and a Countryman podcast. If you like it, let us know, share it around, and we'll see you on the road.